Hello, older kids. How are you? I'm going to show you a C major scale on the staff today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're starting on C, way down here. We're going to assume a treble clef. We are in treble clef. And there's our C. Do. Actually, let me play C, make sure I'm on C. Do. I was like a fourth away. That's do. It's a lot higher. Do. Do, C, or 1. And then Re. Re. 2. Or D. D is the note name, the letter name. 2 is the scale degree that corresponds with Re, which means 2. Here's the sign for Re. Here's the sign for Do. And then comes Mi. Mi. And then Fa. Sol. You can see me right like that. La. Ti. Back to C. E, F, G, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, and Do. Do, Re, Mi, or C. Do. I always want to start lower. Do. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. Those are the signs. Now, we need to talk about the pattern here because the goal in learning our scales is for you to understand the circle of fifths and the circle of fourths and all of the key signatures in music. The reason we need key signatures is to tell you which notes need to be sharpened or flattened in a piece of music. In this scale, nothing is sharpened or flattened because it's a C major scale. In the key signature of C major, there are no sharps and no flats. And that's because when you start on C and you go up the alphabet and you get to your last C, the C that's exactly double the frequency, the wavelength of the lower C up here, you make to the higher C an octave. All of these have no accidentals. You don't sharpen or flatten them because this pattern is the major scale pattern, and that's the one that we need to build music off of. Because music is built of chords, which are on different scale degrees in the major scale, and that's how we analyze and make Western music. We analyze Western music that way. So 1, 3, 5. I'm sorry, I'm so out of tune. 1, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5. Makes a chord. That's a 1 chord. Bum, bum, bum. See if I can play you a 1 chord. 1, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5. And say we wanted to make a chord off of 2, 4, and 6. La, Re, Fa, La. So we have Do, Mi, So, Re, Fa, La. That would sound like that. That's a 2 chord. It's minor. And so on and so forth. So that's why the pattern is so important. And do you remember what the pattern is So we know some intervals. The intervals that we know come in handy when you're talking about the pattern of a major scale. The pattern is, remember everybody? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. All right, let's say it again. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Let's write it at the top of the board. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. To represent whole step, I'm using a W. To represent half step, I'm using a lowercase h. What is a whole step, you ask? Well, do you remember the interval, the major second? Remember? Do, re, re, do. Or Mary had a do, re, do. There is a major second because there's a space in between those two notes. Do, re. Do you hear jaws? I don't. Remember, minor second is when we hear jaws. Let's hear a minor second. Do, ra, do, ra, do, re, do. Major second, re, do. Minor second, ra, do. Major second, re, do. Minor second, ra, do. Let's think of another way you can remember this. Do, ra, do, re. If you hear jaws, da, 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 da. Or ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do. That's another way you can remember it. So a whole step is a major second. A half a step is a minor second. A whole step is a major second. A half step is a minor second. We have two important minor seconds in this pattern of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, the major scale pattern. The most important ones are fa to mi and ti to do. Those are our tension tones. Fa, mi. Let's play the real fa. Fa, mi, re, do, fa, mi. That's why the sign goes like this, because it really wants to go down to mi. Fa to mi. Re to do. But that's a, re to do is a whole step. Re does want to go to do though. Remember that. Re wants to go to do and fa wants to go to mi. What else wants to go to do? The other half step. Ti, do, ti, do. And that's why it's pointing up like this. That's a sign. Ti, do. Ti really wants to go to do. Ti, la, sol, fa. Oops. Yeah. Fa, mi, re, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. That's tough. All right, so let's write on our scale here. Do, re. From C to D is a whole step. Do, re, re to mi, re, mi. There's a whole step. Do you hear jaws? Re, mi. I don't. Whole step. Mi to fa. Remember when I talked about fa wanting to go to mi and that being important? Mi, fa, mi, fa. Is there anything between those two? Not really. Mi, fa. So it's a half a step. Half. Mi, fa, sol. So fa, sol. Between fa and sol. Do you hear jaws? Fa, sol, fa, sol. No, there's too much space. Fa, fi, sol. Oh, there's one in between. So it has to be a whole step. Sol, la, between sol and la. Do you hear jaws? I don't. I even hear re, do for in a different key. So that's another whole step. Whole step. La, ti, ti. Do you hear jaws? La, ti, la, ti, la, ti, It's a big space. There's something in between. Da 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 da. So it has to be a whole step. Okay. Tee-do, tee-do. Do you hear Jaws? Do-do, do, do. If it's higher up, it's not going to sound so much like Jaws just because Jaws is low, but it still is a half step. Dee-do, dee-do. Is there anything between those? It's a really small space. So dee-do. So there's your half step. And there's our major scale pattern. So think about the next scale we're going to do if we're going to go up the circle of fifths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth scale degree is G. If we were to start on G, we would need to add some accidentals, sharpen and flatten some notes so that we can make this same pattern, but starting on G. Because the major scale pattern is very important. And the circle of fifths will tell us what our key signature will have to be to start on G. Every time you go up 5 notes, you add a sharp. So that's your hint. It's probably going to have 1 sharp in the key signature. The order of sharps, remember, is F, C, G, D, A, E, B, which is the order of flats backwards. Greatest common factor, bead. B, E, A, D, G, C, F. F, C, G, D, A, E, B. So the first sharp has to be F sharp. We just memorized that. That's just a rule. So for when we do the next scale, we'll start on G. We'll sharpen our F, and then we will have the same pattern. And it's already off to a good start, right? Whole, whole, half. Whole, whole, half. Awesome. Good job, everybody.